You are now listening to the iWalter Show. Real talk about nothing.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
All right. Hey, this is Walter from iWalter. It is Sunday the 22nd at 6:33 p.m. I'm kind of going to rush this show a little bit today. I have a friend who might be stopping by a little later, my friend Matt, and I want to make sure I'm got this out of the way. This weekend was actually kind of busy because yesterday I went up to New Jersey to New Jersey Comic Expo. It's set at the Exposition Center. Honestly, I don't know where it is. I just use my GPS. And then today I actually went to a play at, it looks like Hedgerow Theater Company to go see Dracula. It was the last show. I was supposed to go see it yesterday. And I actually went and seen it today. Which honestly, it actually turned out better because, it was the very last show. The person who actually runs the Hedgerow Theater said, hey, you're bringing in a camera? And I said, yeah. He says, well, you can't take any pictures. And was like, no, I know that. But I was lucky because it was the last show. I was able to take pictures after the very last play of this was finished. So that was kind of actually really nice. Yeah, it was funny though. And actually I had seen a couple movies too. I, bought, and I have gotten through a few of them, not all of them, like maybe a total of 2. I'm going to have to take a look. Give me a minute to check that out. I do this a lot though. I step away from my mic, so I'm going to get through this stuff first. I got some of those interesting stories that Walter always likes to do. Let me go through the order of what I'm looking at. The first one was I got it on Friday. It was an awful film. It was actually taken from a VHS tape from England and made into a Blu-ray for the U.S. And the transfer was horrible. It was off a videotape. The movie, by the way, was called Killer Workout. And the reason you get those kind of movies is because you get to see women in, workout outfits. I'm not going to lie. It's basically, spankerchief type material. What do you call it? Movie from the 80s. But it was so poorly, not even remastered. It was just transferred. And they even said that on the back of the Blu-ray box. That it was almost actually a waste of money because there was parts where there was dropout on the film, from the videotape, and you could actually see it in like the snow you would get with videotapes. So, but it was kind of funny. I didn't notice, but the one actress in there, her name was Marissa Carr, actually played in Maniac Cop, which I've seen that film, and that was really bad too. But I didn't realize there was any so-called known actors in there, so that was pretty funny. Anyway, the other movie, much better, though, because I'm a big Stephen Hawkins. Stephen Hawkins? Yeah, it is Stephen Hawkins, right? The guy who came up, he's, I don't want to say scientist. He wrote a book called The Brief History in Time. That's what he's well known for. But the story of his life, it was a movie I bought. I had to pick up. It was $9 on Blu-ray. It was on sale. The Theory of Everything. It was a really good film. I didn't know a lot about him. I just know about the book because, honestly, I never read the book. But I did go to the movie that came out that was, basically narrated with Stephen Hawking. And honestly, for years I thought he was American. I didn't know he was English. Obviously, the movie showed, the difference. Let me put this in real quick because honestly, I'm not doing a good job with Stephen Hawking, and I should know because I really just loved his theories. He's gone a little off the deep end as he's gotten older. He's got 2 children, too, that are grown up. Because it's on the tip of my tongue what his, let's see. Yeah, he's an English theoretical physiologist, cosmetologist, or theoretical cosmetology. I mean, the man he's very smart. His theories were definitely, he had to fight tooth and nail, no puns intended. But they were definitely interesting. There's a newer British professor of physics. That's what I want to say. He studied physics, I believe. That actually is on the same line, in my opinion, as Stephen Hawking's on his beliefs, but he does a little bit of a better job. I mean, he's up there with Stephen Hawking's. I think he's not as, Stephen Hawking's has gotten a little bit, I don't know what else how to say, but a little bit eccentric on his theories. So, some of it I just have a hard time to swallow with his beliefs and his politics, to say the least. So, and I got stories in politics, trust me, I always do. Hey, by the way, I see this up right now, my thing of list. I did get, because I have Netflix, I never use it, so, hey, there's something on Netflix. Now, this is a sidetrack from the movies, because let me see what else I have. I haven't watched it, so I can't really say anything. So I'll do that real quick, because I haven't watched them. The Imagination Game was the next movie, because I like Benedict Cumberbatch, I think his name is. I want to see that film that he was in, The Imagination Game. I love him as Sherlock Holmes. Don't get me wrong. I love him as Sherlock Holmes. I didn't like him in Star Trek at all. I thought he was horrible. But he's a great actor. And then I picked up, I want to watch this, but this is actually not a movie. This is based upon a book. I didn't know that. And it was Matt Dillon in Wayward Pines. Why would I pick that up? It was cheap. It was like, I think $16 for the mini series. And why did I get it was because when M. Night Shyamalan was in Philadelphia, I had deliberately taken a day off to go down to see him at the comic book convention this past year. Was it last year? I thought it was this past year. And he really was, I don't want to say, I did say to people, he was pushing his his series called Wayward Pines, which I never heard of. It's based upon a novel, I think. That's what I read, I think. And I didn't really think it was that impressive, but there was a friend who said, I really kind of got into it, but I think it got canceled anyway. The ratings weren't too high on there. And it's based upon a novel anyway. How far can you stretch it? Well, let me rephrase that, because they did that with Under the Dome, a book written by Stephen King. So I wouldn't be surprised that they would try to make Wayward Pines into a regular series and milk it for all they can get out of it. But it didn't work. Series is done. So it said it's already been released, the entire series, on one. It's a set of, or one DVD, because it was only so many episodes. It was like, I want to check this out because my friend usually steers me right, and I wanted to, see how his, how he felt about this series, how he matched up with what I would think. Anyway, let me get back. It was on Uproxx. There was a story, though. I'm not going to read the story because I can watch it and I can give my own opinion. What you need to know about Netflix, Jessica Jones. I had no fucking clue. I started watching the show. It's like, what the fuck is this about? Because there's this girl who she played in who plays Jessica Jones, Christine Ritter, and she's like a detective, but she has all these she's like super strong. She's got superpowers, and it's based upon a Marvel comic book. And the way I gathered, this is supposed to be in the same universe as Daredevil. Well, the problem is, though, I don't know much about Daredevil. I love the series, the first series. I loved it. But I I'm not sure because I know most of these stories are based upon some type of version of New York, not like saying, hey, this is New York. Well, in Jessica Jones, yeah, she is living in New York. They say that. Okay, this is what I was looking for. It does say it's a Stan Lee, graphic novel. It's based upon Stan Lee's graphic novel. I wasn't sure about that. But the whole series is on Netflix. You can do basically watch the whole entire season, as long as it would take you, all the way through, without waiting for another week to come by. Because Netflix, that's a bad thing. They put their whole entire series of a show up that's a Netflix series. They put the whole entire thing up. You can watch it. You can just basically binge on it. I got through the first 2 episodes, but I'm still like scratching my head. I have no clue because I really did like Daredevil. I thought it was really good. But I'm having a hard time getting through Jessica Jones. I can't make heads or tails out of it. I did find out that she's an ex-superhero, according to some article I read. Not this one, another one. So that was kind of like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense because I am like basically blind. They don't give you any explanation of how she came about or what her deal is. And why was this comic book made called Jessica Jones? I have no clue. I thought right away, it was something to deal with, what do you call it? With Daredevil. I'm trying to look for a name real quick because there's a woman who played in The Matrix who's Jessica Jones' boss, the actress, not, the woman who plays this actress who plays this character. So I got to look this up real quick because I'm not familiar with these names. So give me a second. Carrie Ann Moss. She still looks really good. I don't even know how old she is. She played Trinity, but she's also in Jessica Jones. Oh, shoots. Folks, sorry about that. And now I'm going to have a ringer on my phone. So let me pause for a minute. I'm going to have to pause and hope. All right, folks. Hey, I'm back. I apologize about that little interruption. Yeah, I'm not used to that. My phone runs through my computer, so yeah, I got a ringer on now my radio show. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to cut it out. It's going to be part of the show. It's going to go in the archives, so I apologize. I just turned my phone off. I had no choice. But yeah, Carrie Ann Moss, she is like super attractive, and she still looks the same as she did as Trinity. I'm like trying to look at her age. Okay, she's the same age as me. She's 48 years old. So she looks exactly the same. The only thing I have against her is that she has her hair really short, like a boy haircut, and I can't stand it. It makes her look horrible because she's a very attractive woman. But, but she's a really good actress, too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to steer one way or the other. I'm going to try to keep these gory stories to the very end because they are pretty bad. At least one. And the other ones are just plain piss me off. Oh, by the way, I did watch Doctor Who today. And for once, I was not pleased with this season at all of Doctor Who. And I finally found one episode I can actually... Well, actually, I got to take that back a little bit because now I have a Love Jones for that one actress they had from some other TV show. And God, I got to look up her name now. Young girl. She's really attractive, though. The Game of Thrones? Yeah, okay. This chick is from the Game of Thrones. And I don't watch the Game of Thrones, so I have no freaking clue. But anyway, she was back again. She's like now the Doctor's villain. I thought she was supposed to become his companion, but they end up making her into a villain for Doctor Who. And it was like, I was like not looking forward to watching this week's episode of Doctor Who because it was just like, okay, the show's gotten just not that great. I mean, some of them kind of surprised me. I did like the ones from the girl who plays in is that still on? I'm not sure. The Game of Thrones young girl. She was there since she was like a little kid. Now technically she's, a young adult at least. But she's playing the villain on Doctor Who. I think she plays her She goes by Me or something like that, the character, because I don't know her name. I could probably look this up real quick, because now I don't have to worry about my phone ringing. Me on Doctor Who. So I'm going to check that up real quick. Because it just says Me on Doctor Who. But I don't know her name. But basically, the Doctor, she died, this character, and then the Doctor resuscitates her with alien hardware, so to speak, that makes her immortal, that she'll live until the end of time. Like, she's going to live forever. So, at first, she was very grateful for the Doctor for doing that, but then she became a little bit more resentful because she's lived beyond everyone else. She's basically is not going to ever die, and knowing this, I think it's Maisie Williams. Is that it? Maisie Williams is her name? Because I can't really tell you because I haven't watched the show, so of Game of Thrones. But I really love her. She's just adorable looking. Yeah, Maisie Williams. She's only 5'1". She's only 18 years old. Oh wow. She is awfully young, but she's a really good actress too. She's adorable. She's like cute as a button. But they brought her back again, and I was kind of pleased that it's like, okay, when they bring her back, it's cool. I just don't like the fact they keep on making her now like a definite villain, and now the arch nemesis to Doctor Who. Well, one thing I will say I really like, I really was pissed off when they changed the character of the Master from a male to a female. I know they're like the Master, the Doctor, they're Time Lords. They changed their body, but they never changed their sex. So that was one I just did not like. And that being said, at least Macy, she came in as a female, she is the new villain, and she's a very good villain. I just would wish she was more of a companion. But, I guess it makes it easier just to bring her in once in a while this way, as opposed to making her like a companion, which would be more difficult. Because, again, I'm not sure. I assume that show, Game of Thrones, is still like a going on thing. I don't know, or a thing that's continuing. That being said, maybe that's why they kind of just decided, we'll just make her someone who is a villain where she's not etched in stone. They can bring her back when necessary. So that part, I better turn off my volume again. Just not for the phone, but for the obvious reason, because my Facebook is where I post my articles, and then pull them up later, and I'll get some buzzing noises by doing that. But yeah, Macy was really good, but I'm just going off on a really large sidetrack. The thing that was interesting though is I read, this was made me really want to watch this Doctor Who this week, was they said they're killing off the character of Clara. I was like, okay, you know what? This has definitely got my attention. I hate to see, because this is technically, if this is true, and it's not one of these, she died, but the Doctor somehow faked her death or brought her back and changed the rules of time, which he never did before. But because this would be the second time that the Doctor has physically lost a companion through death, a heroic death, because the first one was Adric years ago, because Adric actually died from by saving the Earth when he stopped a Cybermen ship, or actually it wasn't a Cybermen ship, it was a ship invaded by Cybermen that was supposed to crash into the planet Earth. And somehow Adric made sure to have the ship explode before it hit the Earth's atmosphere. Something like that. But he died. And I know it was Nyssa and Tegan at the time. They said, well, can't you go back and bring him and take him off the ship before he dies? He says, I cannot change the rules of time. He says, when he died, I I can physically can't change the term of events, because that event during his death actually stirred on, they used the theory of why the dinosaurs died, and they said it was because of a dust cloud that covered the earth and basically made the earth cold and killed all the dinosaurs off. I'm jumping around, I know that. So anyway, he could not change the history of time. He would have saved Adric. But the bottom line is Adric did die, and the Doctor was very upset about that. Now he's lost a second companion through death, and not from, parting their ways. So this is the second time in the Doctor Who history where the Doctor has physically lost a companion. Anyway, I found another hideous article, so I apologize. I'm going to put that in you don't know what it is yet. I'll wait. I'll keep people in suspense. Anyway, how did I get started on this now? I even lost my train of thought thanks to somebody trying to call me while I'm trying to do a freaking show. And I made it clear because it was actually it was my parents. Oh, because it was this list of movies and stuff that I was going through, and I've watched 2 out of 4. I actually got a whole bunch of movies that I haven't watched. But okay, it's going to cut what I'm talking about now. And, the bottom line is I did watch Doctor Who. It was actually a really good episode. It was definitely emotional. It was a little bit too easy the way they killed off Clara. But in some ways, it was time for her to leave, I guess. A lot of people wanted to see her, fans wanted to see her be removed from the show. So maybe that's why, because they just did a kind of almost, this is too simple the way she died. Even though it was technically heroic, it was still a simple plotted death. And in some ways, that kind of was a little bit, it was okay, I thought it'd be a little more heroic than it was. But it definitely leads more openings in the future for the character of Doctor Who. It's funny because years ago, before the show originally got canceled, the Doctor's 12th regeneration, which is the one he's on now, was supposed to be his darkest, which actually Peter Capaldi actually had taken that character in a different direction. And part of it is because, according to the way the history has changed with Doctor Who, is because of the character of Clara, making him less sinister and less dark on which was the direction he was supposed to go. And also, it's funny because that character of Peter Capaldi, he actually looks much younger now than he did when he first started the character. I think this is the 3rd season with him already. Either the 3rd or the 2nd. I can't remember. I think it's the 3rd, actually. He actually looks better now. And it was funny because the dead ringer of, okay, somebody's going to die, was Peter Capaldi has just been wearing his own clothes on set, apparently. To me, it looks that way. He just wears a sweater instead of the costume he was given for Doctor Who. Well, today, or yesterday's episode, he actually wore his costume for the first time in many episodes. I was okay. I read this article that Clara is going to die. It's obvious because the man was in his costume, or, the Doctor, as he's known as a 12th Doctor, in his full attire. And I was okay, this is definitely a little bit of a red flag that, yeah, Clara is going to die, the character Clara, and she did. So I'm not fully convinced yet. I think there's going to be something more to it. I don't know. I can't really say. But really what I wanted to talk about, it was definitely worth watching, though, either way. An actress did definitely change on her looks from when she first started until now. So she went through a lot of different transitions. So anyway, I don't want to keep on talking about that. I did want to talk about the convention I went to yesterday, though. And it was really fun, actually. It was about an hour and a half. I actually drove to and from there yesterday. I mainly went there because I really wanted to see Amy Ackard. I think Ackard. I wanted to really see her, so I'm looking for her. I think she's adorable. I love Amy Ackard. And I probably got rid of all her stories now. Or at least I had one up just for her name, basically. But I got to see Amy Ackard yesterday. Maybe I'll have to pull one up again because there was another reason I had that. And she was like super friendly. I mean, I'm not used to that. Give or take, I've just had a lot of like run-ins with certain actors I met, or actresses, actors, and generally they're either very nice or they're just plain obnoxiously rude. And unfortunately, it's mostly, I don't mean to say this, but it's mostly with the female actresses. I generally get the cold shoulder from them. And it's very upsetting because like these are people I put on pedestals. That's my own fault. And they end up being extremely rude when you meet in person. It's like, I'm giving you tons of money just for you this to humiliate me. And that's not cool. That's like kind of really ignorant. So I'm trying to look. Here we go. And Amy, though, was really, really pleasant to meet. You know, I never get nervous in front of any actress or actor at this time. I mean, I made an ass out of myself in front of, well, he's more of a director than an actor, but he is an actor, sort of, is Kevin Smith. And I was really nervous the first time I met him. The second time, I just made a total ass of myself. And I was like pretending to grab his crotch while they took my picture. And, you know, I was just being silly. But normally anymore, I just get like a cold distance myself from these actresses or actors because I'm just afraid they're going to be a real ass otherwise. And for once, she was so nice. She was so sweet, Amy Acker, that I actually started shaking. I told her, I said, I'm really nervous. And I said, I'm embarrassed. I'm like nervous. She said, oh, you don't have to be nervous. She was so nice. I mean, it was not even me just saying this just for brownie points. Trust me, she was really exceptionally nice. And she actually had one of the people. I said, hey, can I get a picture of you? I paid for a photo shoot with her, whatever you call it, like one shot. And I said, oh, can I get photos with Amy, like if I get an autograph from her? And they said, yeah, you can do that. So I did that too. And I said, can you take the picture for me? And the people that work with Amy, they weren't around or paying attention when, like, I said, Amy, can I get a picture with you? This Amy Acker. So she actually asked one of these girls that were waiting in line to get an autograph. She said to the people waiting in her line, can you take a picture of me and you know, her? And they said, oh, sure. But the pictures turned out really bad. And it was like, Amy said, well, I need to look at these pictures we had taken of us. So she says, I don't like these. So she said, let's just do a selfie. So she grabbed my phone, you know, she was real nice about it, and she took a selfie. That was the best freaking picture out of all of them. So, I mean, I can't say enough. I really love Amy because I used to watch her on Angel and on the Dollhouse. I just really always, you know, admired her as an actress. So seeing her in person just really made me extremely nervous. So, because, I mean, this is one I put on the pedestal, and she actually lived beyond my expectations. She was just very nice. So that being said, you know, I really appreciate that. I loved that I got to meet Amy. Actually, I don't even know this actress, honestly, but a friend told me, let's see who's on this list, because he found out where I went. I sent it to him. My one friend, his name was Todd, though, by the way. My friend Todd, he said, oh, Chase Masterson's there. And I was like, who's Chase Masterson? I don't even know who the freak she was. So he said, oh, yeah, she was on like Star Trek and stuff. Well, I'm looking at her thing. It says actress, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Fist of the North Star, Star Trek, and Captain Pike. It was like, I don't know who she is, but it was like, you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to get a picture of her. I'll pay. And it was like, I was going to just do a random shot with her. And I felt so bad because she was doing this campaign for, you know, bullied kids in school. She set up this campaign where you don't have to pay for it. You just get a piece of paper, like these colored, you know, cardboard, what do you call it? Index cards or whatever. And she says, you don't have to pay for it, but she says, just write something down that when these kids that are getting bullied get bullied, that they can read something of support from people that support these poor kids who get bullied. And it was like, listen, you know what? If she does something like that, my heart went out to it. It was like, you know what? Screw it. Fuck it. I said the F word. I'm going to pay for this because she's doing something for a good cause. So I ended up getting a picture of this girl named Chase Masterson. She's an incredible looking woman. I said, I apologize. I'm actually really doing this more for a friend than myself. And I will get the autograph. I will pay for it. I'm mainly doing it. She says, well, the money's going to, most of it's going to go that I'm collecting today for these kids that are, bullied in high school. And it's like, I was bullied in high school. You know what? You don't have to say anymore. I will give the money. She said, you can just give a donation. It's like, no, because I'm also doing it for a friend too. I want to get a picture. I'm doing it selfishly too, because I really did not notice one, but she was really nice. So that was number 2. Actually, everybody there was very pleasant for the most part. Most of the people, the women I had seen there, the ones that were the cosplay girls, they were very nice because I asked for their pictures. I got a lot of pictures of a lot of the girls that were in cosplay as well, and they were very cute and they were very pleasant, very friendly. Which I mean, that just means a lot to me because I look for stuff. Some hope that people aren't all assholes, and that was definitely proven here. The setup, by the way, going back to Amy Acker too, was very organized. This whole thing, it wasn't as big as the ones that I go in Philly or other ones in New Jersey, but the organization of this comic convention was very well put together. For the photo shoot, it was very organized. The people doing it were very friendly. You got your picture with Amy, and then 2 minutes later, you got your photo. They had a barcode on the bottom of the photo, and they email you a copy of your photo. And they were supposed to charge you, but I don't think they did. So I haven't checked yet either, but it looked like it just emailed it right to me. So it was like, hey, this is fine because I already paid everything up front. You're not going to charge me any more money because you already did that. So that was really nice. I went through a lot more money than I wanted to yesterday because the other problem was, my heart went out to this other thing too. These guys I'm trying to look for it now on my Facebook page, Pirates of the Caribbean. And I got a couple of pictures up of a lot of different people. It says WWWPC. Let me see if I can pull up the rest. I'm looking at my photo for this. PCT. It's some organization for children again. So, children in need. So it was like, you know what, guys? How much are you charging? And they said, well, we're charging like $5. I think it was $5 or $10. I can't remember. You get a photo, you get put in the contest. It's like, I don't care about this. I just want to get a photo of you guys. And if the money's going towards charity, again, I will give money. So I don't want to say I got suckered. My heart went out. So, when I heard about it, this is definitely going towards a charity. And it's called Main Deck Productions, by the way. The guys were really cool. It was like, dude, I want to get a picture of you guys, but I also want to make sure that you said this money's going towards charity, right? And I said, yeah. It's like, you got me sold, dude. I'm going to give you some money towards that. So I did that too. So there were some cool guys. I got a picture of some guy from Medieval Times Dinner and Tournament, which kind of reminds me of one of those Big Bang Theory episodes. These guys actually do a medieval dinner and the whole not medieval look. So I got a picture of at least one of the people there. That was really cool. So again, I'm getting my lighthearted stories out first in case somebody comes to the door. I can just cut it off and finish it with that. So that was really cool. And then today, by the way, because I'm trying to rush through the show, like I said, hopefully no more calls because I did turn off my phone, was I did go see, again, at Hedgerow Theater Company, the last show of Dracula. They told me I couldn't bring in a camera, but when it was over, the cast did all group shot. I said, can I get a group shot of you guys? Some people actually wanted pictures of with the cast members, especially the guy who played Dracula. It's like, guys, you did an incredible job. A really, really good job. And I loved it. You know what? I was very jaded. I told the guy who played Dracula, I said, you know what? I just saw in Broadway, I had seen, what was it? Misery, and it was really good. Don't get me wrong, I liked it, but I said, and he says, "Oh yeah, I heard that was really good." And everything. I was like, "No, but you don't understand. I like this better than I like that." And this was, I think, a little over 2 hours, probably. Dracula, Misery was about an hour and a half, and the actors were having a hard time with their lines, and there was a different level of acting though, because these actors are local actors, but these people are right out of college. These are professional actors. I'm not saying other ones weren't, but you're talking film actors acting on Broadway. Now you're talking professionals that I put on the level as, the way they were given their lines, they sounded very much more professional on the level. I put them on the level of like Shakespearean actors, which is not easy. So these guys did a really good job. I mean, this is a level of acting that I would, again, put with Shakespearean actors. So that's saying a lot. So I think that these players play off of, some local college. I'm not sure which one outside of Philly. I think it's I had the location of this. I'll have to see if I can find it again because I actually had taken it down. Because I emailed them the pictures I had taken. I'm seeing if I can find it right now. It says 146 West Rose Valley Road, Rose Valley, PA 19086. So bottom line is, yeah, these guys were excellent. They were incredible. They did a great job. The only thing I have a little bit of a problem with, not with the actors, but it is off like the main line, so to speak. Not quite, but it is on like the main line of Philly. So you got a little bit of a snooty type audience. Not that bad, but these people are more upscale people, I guess, so to speak. And their level is more of a cliquey type feel. But as far as the play goes, because that's what I'm there for. I'm there for that play. I'm not there for these other people. I do like to feel the response off of other audience members, though. I am there for that. The play was incredible. I mean, this was like worth, and was only $30. So that was the best $30 I had spent this whole entire weekend. And it was much cheaper. When you go to a Broadway play, you're talking like a couple $100 at least. So, that being said, this was just so much better. Not that I would never go to a Broadway play again, but it definitely made me reconsider because I honestly went in with a very low expectation that I'm not going to like this. These aren't name actors that I'm seeing. I'm seeing, what do you call it? I'm seeing people that are professionals, but at a local level. But they outdid, in my opinion, their acting outperformed what I saw on Broadway. Now, I wouldn't say that, but they were definitely up there. I did like The Elephant Man with Bradley Cooper. He did an incredible job. So, but these guys are up there. These guys are going to go on to do much, much better things, I think, and I hope they do more plays. I actually asked one of the actors. He didn't seem to respond or know how to respond. But I said, it would be cool to see you guys do August Strindberg, Ghost Sonata or something like that, because that's very fictional too, just like Dracula is. So I would like to see that actually happen. Anyway, when I was at that comic convention, so I'm going to give her credit. She was a really adorable looking woman. She's very cute. And she's got red hair, and she actually, her name's Ginger Ale. Ginger Ale, like the drink you drink. She's got red. She's ginger. She's red. She's really cute. She's really nice. I said, I'd love to do an interview with you guys because, she was just very informative on the game of roller, what is it called? Roller girls, but what is it? It's the rollerblading. It was a big thing back, I think, in the 70s, and you had never really heard of it anymore. But it's like the sport of, roller derby. I apologize. So they do have these tournaments in New Jersey with these rollerblade girls. And Ginger, actually, I talked to her a good long time. I said, I wish I had more. I told her, I said, if I had more, battery life on my phone, I would have done an interview for my podcast here with her because she just gave me so much information, how the game is played, how you score points, how the game is, how it works. And she was just really nice to talk to. She was very pleasant, really cute girl. And again, she just like, it's a good way kind of to get out your aggressions. And it's just, it looks like it's very entertaining to watch. She explained how the game used to be played. It's no longer as aggressive because people can get hurt in this game. Don't get me wrong. It is quite a dangerous sport, but it was nice to talk to this girl, Ginger Ale. She was very sweet. I'm glad to hear from her. I'm glad she explained it to me. And it was like, yeah, hey, this is really cool. I'm glad you explained it to me. I love to watch this. Unfortunately, it's not that far, though. But they do these games in Jersey. I'm looking at it now. It says Garden State Roller Girls now recruiting. They always look for new people. And it looks like it's pretty cool because, you know, you get to see a bunch of girls fighting it out what did I say it's called again? I am so sorry. I keep on saying roller blades, but it's called roller derby. It looks really cool. She says they actually now got to do it. It used to be on like a uplifted type of ground was their playing field, so to speak. She says now they have to do it on the flat ground. They no longer have, at this point at least, any of those original roller derby floors anymore. So they got to use flat floors, but the game is still exactly the same. Well, less dangerous, because back in the day it was very dangerous, much more dangerous than it is now, and they always are looking for new people. So females, because it's a female thing. So it's really cool too. So thank you so much for Ginger Ale. She was really cute, very nice to talk to, very informative too. So I might be done all my light stories now. I'm sorry because I have one more light story. This was really cool. I was looking for some stuff to put on my Facebook page because then I use these articles for later on, and I came around upon this weird thing I never knew existed. And did you know, because I didn't, that was back in the 50s, Chrysler actually came out with an in-car phonograph player. Yes, a record player for your car. So I found a couple articles. I found 3 different articles, and this really did exist. One was from CNET. I found an article on this after I found that this actually was a real deal. And it basically said, before you had, basically your cassettes, your 8-tracks, your DVD players. I think eventually they might make Blu-ray players for your car because basically you could put audio files on there. If they did that, you could have enough music to last a lifetime just on one Blu-ray disc. But anyway, yeah, it was back. It says 1956, Chrysler made, basically an in-car record player, so to speak, 45-speed records as well as 7-inch records in the new 16 2/3 format. So they made vinyl record players for your car. How awesome is that? So I put a couple articles, once again, on my Facebook page, if you want to read a little bit more on that. And that is like the last of my light stories. So I'm going to get these stories out because, again, I don't know. I'm going to be fighting time at this second or this moment, so I'm going to get these out. One was on Breitbart, and it said, this was pretty cool. I'm just going to read the bullet point because I'm going to get through these really quickly tonight. Demand send Islamists into a Neapolithic style exile on a high-security Mediterranean island. Basically, they're saying they should get all these, people make jokes about that. You either blow these people off the face of the planet, these Islamic terrorists, or just put them on they're basically saying put them on an island like they, something like Guantanamo Bay, which is almost shut down thanks to our freaking president. So it says Europe should build a Guantanamo Bay-style prison on the Mediterranean island for Islamists, says the leader of Austria's increasingly popular Freedom Party, which is FPO, Popular Freedom Party. And you know what? I agree with that. You know what? Get all these people, Islamic terrorists, and put them on a fucking island and get them out of our fucking hair and out of the rest of this globe's out of their way. And speaking about this, there was another one on Breitbart. It says Hillary Clinton slamming the door on refugees isn't who we are. So she's like saying, because that's a problem I have too. Here's another problem we have in our country, by the way. Democratic presidential front runner Hillary Clinton doubled down Saturday on her position that the United States should accept thousands of Syrian refugees. Well, half these fucking refugees coming in our fucking country, folks, are mixed in with these Islamic terrorists. I think it's like 10 or 20%. And somebody actually put on Facebook one time, would you want, like, if you could, if you were given like food or something and 10 or 20% of the food that you were given was poisoned, would you still eat it? Yeah, it was something paraphrased like that. And it's like they're trying to refer to, okay, so we're going to let, with the hope of God that these people that we let in as these refugees, that they're not going to be any terrorists. The percentage of the terrorists that are going to be coming in aren't going to do any harm. Yeah, they're going to do some harm. Trust me. So it's ridiculous. And Hillary's just like, she really has no brains. And I just can't imagine. Somewhere in this article, by the way, they said that her strong candidate supporter for this, on how she thinks, is only 20% of America. And, the Democrats, I hope, because, I've seen this backfire and blow up in my face before, living in Pennsylvania, that, you try to hope that the Republicans take the stronghold again. And then you got these idiots to vote for Democrats anyway, because that's what happened here. We got Mayor Wolf, or whatever it is, as our lead person right now. And guess what he wants to do, Tom Wolf? He wants to allow refugees into our fucking state of Pennsylvania, which really pissed me off, by the way, because I heard on Rush Limbaugh, I think it was on Friday's show, which was 2 days ago now. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of time. He said how much money it costs. I think it was like $65,000 per refugee. It's something ridiculous. And he actually came out and said, guess who pays for that? You do. We do. We're paying for these fucking refugees and now we're going to have in our fucking state. This is ridiculous. This is why this needs to come to a stop. Let me see if I can push that up real. I'm really spelling this wrong. I'm just hoping it'll come up anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to look. There was some price he gave yesterday. But these refugees they're not coming free in our country. That's the problem. Per person. I can't find it, but folks, so I know if I dug deep enough, it is kind of important. I'm going to say most of the time I say, oh, this is not important. Well, yeah, this actually is. But these refugees that we allow into our states, which 90% of them don't allow them into our state, are costing us, again, as much as what we make per year, and we're paying for this. So that's my thing. I'm trying to see, because Rush actually has a Facebook and a Twitter page as well. I'm trying to pull it up from yesterday. But yeah, he was even saying, if I remember correctly, because I'm kind of paraphrasing this at this point, that it's a win-win situation for Obama, because he's getting what he wants. Nobody's stopping him, and it's just costing us more fucking money in our country. We got to pay for these supposed refugees that we don't like. A majority of us don't want in this fucking country. So I am beyond dumbfounded. And it was funny. Okay, he did talk about, like, when we had a problem with, I think he was saying something about, because I'm looking at it now, about the illegals coming in our country for some other or refugees coming from our country that were mixed with some type of terrorism, not with the ones now, but some other type of terrorism. Obama had no problem of shutting down the borders and or locking it out until this got under control. But for some reason, with these Islamic terrorists, I wish I could remember. So I apologize. I did not prepare myself for this. All of a sudden, this is a big problem. This is a big fucking problem. Well, it wasn't before when he shut down the borders not too long ago. And his being in office. So I'm trying to look for it. I'm not doing a very good job, but it is not difficult. He's done it before. As the bottom line, the U.S. has shut out immigration before. They can do it again, especially when there's terrorists involved, intertwined with these people trying to get into our country. I mean, this is the bottom line. So, but I wish I could find this cost of these refugees. Let me see if I can find at least the word, because I am such a bad speller. But it was something very costly. Let me see. Cost of refugee in the U.S. Syrian refugees. I probably said that wrong. Because, Obama wants to bring in 10,000 more refugees. And, if you take 10% of even 10,000 people, let's see, what is that? That's like, because my math is really bad too, by the way. Divide it by 0.10. So there you go. You got 100,000, 10,000 I said, right? Because I probably did the math, but you're talking like, what, out of that 10,000, 10% of that is almost like 1,000 freaking terrorists. So that's really good. And it only takes a handful of them because they end up, and it took a handful last time, less than a handful, just to kill millions of people in New York. So, it doesn't take that much, but it does. Unfortunately, we got too many idiots in our freaking country to realize this fact. I'm still trying to look for the cost. Cost of Syrian refugees plan pegged at $1.2 billion over 6 years, and we're paying for this stuff now. Again, I know. It says lifetime cost of refugee resettlement is $55 billion. And, I mean, Russia actually had it broken down per cost per person. And it's, that's what I'm trying to look for. I don't know if I found it actually. Oh yeah, here we go. Taxpayers' cost per refugee, $64,370. Wow, that's so nice of Obama just to consider that. And we're already in enough financial debt, and then we're taking in all these refugees, where each one of them is costing over $64,000 for resettlement per person of these refugees. I mean, how moronic do you have to be to realize this? That's like my year's salary right there, folks. I mean, that's ridiculous. Actually, it's a little bit under, but that's besides the point. I just think that's ridiculous, though. I am sorry. I mean, and this idiot still gets to run our fucking government. This is what really pisses me off. Anyway, let me just read the rest of these stories before I really just get really angry again, and I have a tendency to do that. These are my dark stories from November 21st on from the Dreaming Demon. One was from California, where this guy actually, Daniel Ruse, convicted of crushing a baby to death with his foot because he felt used. So apparently they weren't his kids, they were his girlfriend's kids. And he decided that to put his weight on an infant, or actually a 1-year-old, I consider that an infant, while he was babysitting this girl's kids, because it was more than one actually, but he ended up doing it to one, that he decided to lay his foot, pretty much all his body weight, onto a little girl just watching TV. And the girl, like, basically crushed her, I guess, to the point that she was still alive, but she ended up dying because she could not catch her breath. And he didn't try to help her. Well, he shouldn't have stepped on the girl. And he did it. He admitted to doing it deliberately. That was on the Dream and Demon. They said he might be, he's going to be January 15th. He's up for sentencing, so I don't know what's going on now. And he's facing 25 years to lifetime behind bars. And that's just, I don't understand. These people get to procreate, these idiots, these morons, and find girlfriends. But how, I don't know. I like to know the secret. Do you have to be an asshole to get a girlfriend around here in the U.S.? It seems that way. Another one from the 21st. That was yesterday. Baby dies after being cooked in oven by 2 unsupervised toddlers. Houston, Texas. Police say a 19-month old Jersey Thompson died after her mother left her home alone with a 3-year-old who cooked her to death in an oven. This little kid, this little child. So I don't know. So this mother left the kids home who were way under age in the house by themselves with, this mother left her kids home. One was 3 and the other one, who was now deceased because she was stuck in a oven. The 3-year-old decided to put her sibling in the oven and cook her. According to reports, Raquel Thompson and her current boyfriend were in the habit of leaving her 4 children home alone while they went out to run errands. That's very smart. On Monday night, the couple left Jazira and her 3 other kids, all under 5 years old, home alone to pick up a pizza and pick up a prescription from Walgreens. Well, the one kid decided, well, maybe it'd be not too bad to put, again, their one sibling in the oven. That was really smart, and cook her. I just don't understand these people. Again, and these people get to procreate. That's the thing that really is just a knee slapper. So you let refugees in our fucking country, and that's costing us $65,000 a year per idiot that we allow in, who most of them are refugees. I apologize. Refugees into our fucking country, and that's okay. And then you allow, I'm raising my voice, I'm sorry. You allow, this woman who has 4 kids, single mom with 4 kids, to supervise themselves, and all 4 kids were under the age of 5. And I don't know how she had so many kids by that time. If they're all under the age of 5, that means she had 1 a year almost. I don't know. I'm not going to read any more of that because I'm just really upset about that. And this is not any better. I'm going to leave it go probably. Daily Mail, I question this too. Well, there's reasons why I question this. And it won't make any sense. It's basically, the bullet point is, I doubt God after Paris attacks. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, says he was left asking when the militant jihadists struck. Basically, he's lost a little bit of his faith, seeing what's happened in light of Paris. Well, you know what? It's kind of funny. And the reason I'm thinking that, too, because when I watched that one movie, Theory of Everything, it's funny because I don't know if it's true or not, but it seemed like Stephen Hawking is an atheist, or he was an atheist. And, well, at least according to the movie, and towards his, where he is at now in his lifetime, he's kind of re-theorized his theory on theology, because his wife, his first wife, was very religious. She was, it seemed like she had to be Christian, at least. I'm not sure, but at least she believed in God. How's that? And he did not. He was an atheist. And he reconsidered from things he'd seen in his life events, and that he changed his mind on his belief in God. So that's why I'm questioning this story, because, if you could make an atheist into believing in God, maybe there is a God, so to speak. I'm agnostic myself, so I don't doubt there is some higher power. Anyway, it says Justin Welby said Paris terrorist attack made him doubt the presence of God. These are the bullet points again. Archbishop of Canterbury said he reacted with a profound sadness at them. Appearing on Songs of Praise, he admitted that he put a chink in his armor. He first admitted last year there were times when he questioned God's existence. So, honestly, what we do on the face of our of Earth, what we do outside the heavens, what we do on the ground, is not up to God. That is up to us to determine our fate. So, you can't really blame God for that. We create our own heaven and hell as individuals, and I'm being a hypocrite because I complain a lot, but we create our heaven and hell on earth, not God. And I'm just trying to clarify, trying to put that out there. So that being said, it is not God who determines our fate. It's us ourselves. And why we're on, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the right word. Why we're, we live our lives, and our lives are so short. Because honestly, I thought about this on the way home tonight. I got to take up with people who are not very friendly, very judgmental. Every time I walk out the door to my house or my parents' house, and I got to deal with this on a constant basis of ignorance. And ignorance is truly a thing that is bliss. But, and I think about that my lifespan is halfway over. If I live another 50 years, I'll be happy. But, you can't stop death. And that was another thing that kind of made me question that too, was because when taking it into a different direction, I was watching Doctor Who. They did make word of that too, I guess a little bit of theology almost, where one thing you can't escape is death. If you try to pass death on, the nature of things is you will die. There is no way to change our fate. That is one fate that is out of our hands. We have people who try to play God or think they are God, but when your time comes, there is no way to stop death, because I can't think of the proper word to say again. So, folks, when I read that last article, that's what I was thinking of, is like, you can't blame God. The only thing he can do is, or the higher power, whatever you want to say. And that's funny, actually. I remember years ago when I had problems, emotional problems, which I still do. But I looked into AA and NA meetings, which I've never drank alcohol in my life. I've never done any sort of drugs. I'm not even just saying that. But what was the one thing that kept people on the straight path from doing drugs or alcohol and kept them sober or clean was the belief in a higher power. And that was the one thing I had taken. And why I went to these meetings, by the way, was my problem was I had issues with, and still do, with obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. And the only way you can, you can overcome your weakness or your, I'm trying to think of the right word for that too. Your weakness is to believe in something that's stronger than yourself. And if that doesn't help, then to put more faith in yourself, at least. I mean, religion doesn't always have to be, an immortal being outside of yourself. It could be within yourself, that higher power too. But it is some type of higher power, so to speak, no matter how you look at it. It probably doesn't make much sense. But I don't know what got me started on that. I guess it was just after I read that very last article again. Yeah, the one on the Bishop of Canterbury. So, saying you doubt God is probably, I'd rather not say I don't believe in God, and I'd rather say that I believe in some type or question some type of higher power. Anyway, folks, I think I heard a door slam, so I'm going to let this iWalter show finish for tonight. And if you listen to me, I appreciate it. I always appreciate feedback if I've never gotten any yet, but if I ever do, I would not turn it away. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm signing off for tonight's show. Thanks a lot. And again, this is iWalter on Sunday at 7:38, Sunday, November 22nd, 2015. Thanks again, folks.